So today we are joined by Paris Petgrave, who is the founder of We Love Work and Rare Seed Capital. Paris, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Hello.
Thank you.
So let's just jump straight into it, Paris. Take us back to your childhood and what was it like for you growing up?
What was it like for me growing up? Well, I can't say, I mean, I had an amazing childhood. So I come from a very entrepreneurial background.
Yeah.
My parents are always in business from a very, very young age. They had restaurants, which meant that I didn't see them on the weekends. Yeah. And they were in real estate. But yeah, I had a really great childhood. And yeah, just kind of always in the back of my mind kind of knew that like work was like a culture within our family. It wasn't anything that my parents moaned about. It was never a negative thing. It was always a fun and exciting thing.
The beginning of your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
So you started up Kaleidoscope Training, a recruitment agency. Was that like your first, were you ever employed first of all?
Well, I did do a kind of stint of employment. Employment didn't really work for me. And I wasn't like used to like the corporate way, the very much micromanaged way. So when I was in my first corporate job, which was in recruitment, funny enough, I did that for 6 months, but I just couldn't break through. I saw loads of ideas I wanted to bring in. I wanted to do, so I was probably a bit of a nightmare for my manager, but it just didn't work for me. I didn't feel like I could excel or I could win in that environment.
And how old were you when you started your business?
So I was in my early 20s, if I remember. My first business, I began to kind of like, it was probably around 24 that I started.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And was that Kaleidoscope Training?
Exactly,
You're 24. How do you, as a 24-year-old, set up a recruitment agency? Like,
You're so young.
You're so young.
So young.
How do you sort of do that and develop the corporate contacts as well, your clients?
Yeah, I think it's just literally, it was like, I guess I could imitate anything. And it was like the saying, fake it till you make it. So like the beginning stages, I was like, okay, you know, business is about relationship. It's about, I guess, selling yourself initially. In the early stage of your business is selling, people buying into you.
As opposed to dealing with confidence. Because sometimes where a lot of women struggle is, you know, you're going, for example, in a meeting, maybe you're trying to sort of pitch for some work and it's quite scary. That's quite a good confidence.
To maybe go on an acting course first.
Well, yes, actually. So you're going to walk in.
Because you can have your alter ego, that's you at home and then you in the boardroom. Like.
That's a good tip. Actually.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, from a you know, actors, one thing that they will get used to and they'll develop a very thick skin.
What would you say, I guess, thinking about your first business, what was your, I guess, you spoke about, I guess, you know, it was a new business, you hadn't done that, you know, that type of work before, but were there any other challenges that you had to face and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I mean, people were the greatest challenge and it wasn't them, it was me. And I didn't realise that. See, being a leader is like looking in the mirror in a different level. So where you think you're nice and you're really reasonable, you're not, right? So there's people playing up, it's all about them. So it's like, it took me a few years to realise it was me, it wasn't them, right?
Okay, I get that.
Because actually, a leader is you're meant to empower people, you're meant to, like, true leadership is about, it's not about you, it's about people that you're leading.
Yes.
And I think, you know, naturally, you go into leadership very defensive and very like, this is the way we're going to do it, and you've either got to buy in, and if you don't buy in, it's all because of you can't do it, it's not anything to do with me. So it took me a while to become self-aware and understand that actually I need to change. And then when I understood that, I started to become a better listener, which is a key. I started to become a lot more about people and about others, as opposed to this is the way we have to do things, and if you don't follow this, then it's because you're not good enough. Actually, I would give much more autonomy and I guess a lot more freedom to the people and trust to the people that I was working with so that they could build.
Yeah.
Touching on to what you're doing with Rare Seed Capital, there is a lot of lack of funding available for women. So, for example, they may have the vision, they may have the team, but it's getting the investment. And why do you think women struggle to get investment, you know, for their startups?
Well, it's so funny because I was always questioning that. I was thinking, I wonder why. And actually doing fundraising myself and actually speaking to women who are fundraising, we all kind of have the same complaints. Oh, it doesn't seem like we can get the funding as you know, as easily as some of our male counterparts. And Again, you know, if investors are super honest, and you know, when we kind of have these kind of roundtables, and they really do kind of say, well, these are the issues that you're probably facing. A lot of them will be, okay, if you're a female CEO and you haven't had a child yet, and you're going to be in receipt of $10 million, you know, dollars leading the company, and then you go off and have a baby, that could be sometimes something that people feel nervous about because it puts the business at risk, right?
Yeah.
So there are things like that, just, you know, natural bias, like unconscious bias as well.
What you do with your company. So We Love Work. So just tell us a little bit about, you know, what made you start it and what you do.
I'm totally an advocate of entrepreneurship, but we need people. Not everyone has to be an entrepreneur, and not everyone will be a successful entrepreneur. The failure rate's crazy. So it's about getting people empowered in their workplace, having it like purpose driven, getting companies to think outside the box, getting companies to adjust their culture so that they can retain more women workers. You know, are women leaving your business after a child because the culture is just not conducive with their lifestyle anymore and what's important to them? Can you change your culture to make sure that you're more, you know, female friendly, mother, you know, parent friendly for both men and women?
Yeah,
that's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And then what about Rare Seed Capital? Now tell us about what you're doing.
Yeah, so Rare Seed Capital was kind of like a fluke. It was kind of like one of those things where it was like
a successful fluke.
It was like, oh my goodness. Well, I was kind of like, you know, I'm kind of like, well, what am I going to do? Like, I hear all these stats about, you know, women not getting funding. I kind of, you know, scanned the whole investment landscape in the UK and in America and in Israel. And what I found was the American ecosystem was a lot more developed in terms of the, I suppose, diversity in the investment ecosystem. So there were even funds dedicated to females, like that would invest in women founders. There were funds that would invest in people of colour. And whereas I don't necessarily agree that funds should be specifically like, you know, investing in just one type, I think they should be more inclusive. We're definitely not there yet. So I felt that there needs to be a lot more diversity in the investment ecosystem in the UK. When I came back to London after living in America, I realised that there were no investors that were, you know, visibly in the ecosystem that looked like me.
So Rare Seed Capital, is it a year program? Like, tell us more about, you know, what kind of startups.
So we're an investment fund. So again, similarly to me delving into tech industry, I knew that I wasn't, you know, I had not got a background traditionally in venture capital. So I had a vision for venture capital, but I not had a background in it. So I literally scoured the whole of, you know, the UK for the best possible people that I could hire. That's always my strategy, to hire people that are smarter and more, which is a good strategy. I have a vision, you know, that's the way you got to do it. So I literally scoured the whole of the UK for, you know, the most amazing people that were doing really great things. And I got the team together, and then we just built a network of investors who were, you know, from diverse backgrounds. And it's about kind of creating I suppose a network of investors who might not traditionally invest in tech, but are actually having access to, you know, multi-billion-dollar opportunities potentially.
Sure. So I mean, having the two businesses, what are your ambitions for both of them? Like, what's next? Like, what do you?
Yeah. Well, again, for me, it's all about kind of new, I suppose, building new frameworks for people to access. It's accessibility and inclusivity is kind of, I guess, our core values in that sense. Yeah. But we're in business to be super successful, profitable, and to win. So we want to be market leaders. So we're competitive. I don't want to go into business or go into like investing and go, oh, we're going to be this like kind of almost like charity giving, you know, to people who are women, and like kind of almost see them as like less than. You know, like because I didn't believe in that. Because again, you know, those, I suppose, images and those, I suppose, stereotypes need to be broken. You know, the next Mark Zuckerberg, you know, the next Bill Gates will look like somebody like me. Yeah.
So what does the future look like for Paris?
Wow. I guess it's just keep going. I mean, you know, it's so funny because I don't have a plan for retirement. I mean, you know,
keep going.
I would just keep
going.
Boss it,
I'm telling you, I have so many ideas. I have like a million ideas every week. But I think, you know, for me, it's about supporting as many people as I can. Like, I want to be the producer of the most millionaires and billionaires that,
awesome.
you know, I want to make other people, you know, wealthy and successful and reach their full potential. So
Amazing.
for me, I would say that, you know, if Rare Seed can produce the most successful businesses that the world has ever seen, I'd be happy.
So you're always working. What does Paris do outside of work?
Yeah,
Do you have hobbies? Do you have, what do you do?
I used to have hobbies. I do.
They're all gone.
It has been hard. I have to say, work-life balance has been something that I have had to challenge, but one day I'm going to be able to do a keynote on it because I've been through like so many challenges. I think sometimes the things that you're maybe like going to help people with are the things that you struggle with the most, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like for me, like the work-life balance thing and the relationship thing has been a struggle.
Yeah.
And I've really struggled with it. And I feel like I'm just coming into like the realization that what I can do in 3 hours, and as long as I'm committed to rest and like taking care of my health and stuff, can be so much more productive and actually get me a lot further than what I can do in a 17-hour day, which is like maybe 17, 18-hour days were like my norm. And actually, I've had to like wean myself off 17-hour days and actually going and like not having like blocking all my friends and like going, no, I can't go out, or in the last minute, you know, it's like, do I choose my friends? Do I choose relationship? Do I leave work or do I just keep going?
Oh, well, thank you so much for being our
it's an absolute
guest
pleasure.
on our
amazing.
Mogul series. It's been great to get to know you. So thank you.
No, thanks very much.